Chapter 4. So King Solomon was king over all of Israel. And these were the princes which he had: Azariah, the son of Zadok the priest; Elihoreph and Ahiah, the sons of Shisha, scribes; Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, the recorder; and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the host; and Zadok and Abiathar were the priests; and Azariah, the son of Nathan, was over the officers; and Zabud, the son of Nathan, was principal officer and the king's friend; and Ahishar was over the household; and Adoniram, the son of Abda, was over the tribute. And Solomon had 12 officers over all of Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man his month in a year made provision. And these are their names: the son of Hur in Mount Ephraim, the son of Dekar in Makaz, the son of Shealbim, and Beth Shemesh, and Elon Beth Hanan, the son of Hesed in Aruboth. To him pertained Soko, and all the land of Hepher; the son of Abinadab in all the region of Dor, which had Taphath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife; Baana, the son of Ahilud, to him pertaineth Taanach and Megiddo, and all Bethshean, which is by Zartana, beneath Jezreel, from Bethshean to Abel Meholah, even unto the place that is beyond Jokneam; the son of Geber in Ramoth Gilead, to him pertained the towns of Jair, the son of Manasseh, which are in Gilead. To him also pertained the region of Argob, which is in Bashan, 80 great cities with walls and brazen bars; Ahinadab, the son of Iddo, in Mahanaim; Amahaz was in Naphtali. He also took Basmath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. Baana, the son of Hushai, was in Asher and in Aloth. Jehoshaphat, the son of Peruah, in Issachar. Shimei, the son of Elah, in Benjamin. Geber, the son of Uri, was in the country of Gilead, in the country of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan, and he was the only officer which was in the land. Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms, from the river unto the land of the Philistines, and unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour, and 80 measures of meal, 10 fat oxen, and 20 oxen out of the pastures, and 100 sheep, besides harts, and roebucks, and fallowdeer, and fatted fowl. For he had dominion over all the region on this side of the river, from Tiphsah even unto Azah, over all the kings on this side of the river. And he had peace on all sides round about him. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provided victuals for King Solomon, for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his month. They lacked nothing. Barley also and straw for the horses, and dromedaries brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of these country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Chalcol, and Darda, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowls, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon, from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. We see in this chapter that Solomon makes some very, very substantial changes in the way Israel is governed. Under his father and all previous leaders, the leader himself had basically done everything. He'd been the Superman in charge. And the tribes had sort of had things delegated to them. But by and large, it was the ruler who was in absolute charge, and there was not much else that happened. But here we see that Solomon did a couple of things that were very important. Number one, he added a couple of men, I think 3 or 4 individuals, to his sort of cabinet, we would call it, those people who were closest to him as his advisors. And these were good men. And secondly, he divided Israel into 12 administrative districts, and they list off who was in charge of those. And these administrative districts were different than what the original tribal boundaries were. And the goal was to divide the burden of supporting the monarchy and the army equally amongst the people. And so the goal was that each of the administrative areas was responsible for providing an army of 24,000 men for 1 month of the year, and in turn, so that there would be a standing army of 24,000 always available in case Israel was attacked, and that each man would serve in the army for 1 month out of the year. And so the family would be able to get by, especially if they weren't attacked. The family would be able to get by without him in service, but since they were not attacked, it made it fairly easy. He just had to be on call. Secondly, that each of the administrative district was responsible for providing food for Solomon's table. Now it says Solomon's table. Don't just think of him sitting down to eat. It's all of the people that are part of the government of Israel in Jerusalem. And he obviously had a huge amount of people that he was going to feed and stuff he needed, because it gives us a listing and tells us, for instance, that he needed 30 cores, and it says corn. You got to remember that they didn't have corn, the grain corn that we now have. In the time of the translation of this into English, corn was the word that was used for wheat. It just meant grain. And 30 cores of grain was the equivalent to about 180 to 190 bushels. Each bushel weighed 50 to 60 pounds. That means each day that each of the administrative districts, when it was their turn, needed to provide for each one single day 9,000 pounds of flour, approximately 18,000 pounds of ground cracked wheat, 10 fat oxen. Now, a lot of people have no idea how big oxen get. The biggest ox that I can ever find record of, ever grown in England, was in 1720, and it was sold. They weighed it. It weighed over 3,000 pounds, 1.5 tons. Now, if the oxen that they sold, that they gave to Solomon, were half that size, 10 of them was 15,000 pounds of flesh, would work out to be somewhere around 8,000 to 10,000 pounds of edible meat per day. If you had 20 cattle on top of that, and each of them were half the size of the oxen, okay, that would be another 10 to 12,000 pounds of meat per day, plus 100 sheep, which might dress out to be maybe 60 or 70 pounds each. That's another 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 pounds of meat every single day, plus harts, gazelles, and roebucks, which were a type of wild game deer that were there. And this amount of taxation was absolutely incredible. A huge amount for these people to provide. And this is simply verifies the prophecy that Samuel gave earlier, warning about how much they would have to pay if they had a king, because the king would demand all this. And this is what Solomon wanted. And it says, and they lacked nothing. And what that means is the people who were in charge of the administrative districts guaranteed that they would go to the farmers, they would go to whoever the shepherds were, whoever the people that had cattle, people that had the straw, people that had the barley, people that had the wheat, whatever, and they would get it. And so this is part of what Solomon did. And he was very wise, but he also demanded a lot of his people.